Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and in today's video we're here to break down and react to a truly dominating performance for Rangers which saw us go to Fir Park and score 6 goals. Now before we go ahead and dive in and talk about this truly fantastic game of football, just in case you are new around here or even if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and it only helps us on our way to hopefully one day reaching 55k. But if you've ever saw this channel before and you've ever tuned in and heard me talk about a guy with the initials J and J, you'll know this guy's got a smirk to drop for that cheeky wee thumbnail. So if he's didn't mind, let's do it now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I finally got my wish after talking about him so much for being slaughtered and roasted and made fun of for about a year, saying you always talk about Jones, he's no good enough, he's known this. I've been absolutely roasted for nearly a year now, but the lad finally gets his first start since August 2019, and that right there is why I've been talking about him. Honestly, I'm so happy for him and I'm so happy for us all being able to sit there and watch a real Rangers team to go out there and play. That's the team that we actually recognise, right? And I just want to dive right into the game recap because there is so much to discuss, because literally from the first whistle almost, we basically hit the ball back, we won a free kick, and in the 50th second of this game, Tavernier whips in an absolutely beautiful cross. Morelos meets it perfectly. It is a tough header to get on target, but the wee man does brilliantly. But someone else who done brilliantly, unfortunately, was Motherwell's goalkeeper Carson, who just done a phenomenal save. I honestly thought that was in, but that was one of his many fantastic saves in the game, by the way, despite conceding 5. Now, I would say the game was sort of flowing from back and forth for the first 10 minutes of the game, and I felt like they were really trying to test young Calvin Bassey. You saw that with the first couple of times Motherwell actually got the ball. It was down that side to test the young laddie, because this was his first career start, ladies and gentlemen. Going to Fir Park versus that team with the talent we know that they have under that manager. It was always going to be a tough ask, but me personally, I thought the big boy absolutely strolled it, and that leads me perfectly into the 12th minute of this game after some fantastic work with Morelos, doing some lovely link-up play with Ryan Kent. He gets his head up, he finds Bassey forward, very reminiscent of what we like to do with Barisic, and Bassey just a wee dink cross in. Arfield, I think, tries to header it, doesn't make contact. There's a clear handball in there for the centre-back for Motherwell. I don't think anyone is going to be complaining about this penalty kick. I mean, I talked to Gogsy very, very briefly at half-time when I was roasting him on his live stream, and he pretty much said it's a stone wall penalty kick, and we all know how he feels about Motherwell. So I think if he's saying it's a penalty, it's a penalty. There's no conspiracy theories here, and there shouldn't be, by the way, because that's the first penalty in nearly a year in league football. And El Skipperoo steps up and gets his 5th goal in the last 6 games up to that point. But before we speak about that goal that everyone knows I'm excited to talk about, I want to give a wee bit of love to the defender of Hollander, because in the 21st minute, after a bit of slackness in the middle of the park, I think Polworth chips it over Arfield, it goes into the back line. Tony Watt takes a pretty good first touch, but Hollander is there and hits a perfectly timed challenge, again getting the ball first. Yes, he does eventually make contact with the man, but he's got the ball away there, and the referee didn't give a penalty for that. Again, I don't think there's much discussion about that, but it is worth mentioning. For me, it is a fantastic challenge from Hollander, and that was important because it gave us a platform to continue to grow into the game, and by God did we grow just 7 minutes after that phenomenal challenge for Hollander, because we hit a ball up to Morelos and he beats his centre back to the ball, headers it back into Scotty Arfield. They then do a kind of like wee 1-2 between them and Tavernier. Morelos heavily involved, his link-up play was immaculate during this bit of phase of play, and he passes it back to Arfield, but full credit to Scotty Arfield. I've been a little bit critical of him so far this season, but that is the guy we know, and that's the quality we know. He just gets his head up, he sees Jordan Jones there, he knows he has the pace to beat a player. That's why Jordan Jones is so important to this Rangers team, because we normally didn't have pace doing that right hand side, but we did this time. Arfield, beautiful ball inside, weighted to perfection, but full credit to your man JJ. Burns, I think it's Lammy who's trying to track him back, and I'm saying trying to track him back because he's nowhere near him. He just burns him doing that right hand side. And what about the quality? What about his end product? Because we know the situation that Jordan Jones finds himself in. There was a hell of a lot of pressure for him to make an impact, and talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it right now. Heads up, No thought of passing it or trying to sweat it along. Nah. He believes in his own quality and he wants to show his quality. And by God, he did that. Opens the body up, left foot. Yes, it kisses the inside of the post, but for me, that is absolute perfection for Jordan Jones. And I was just sitting back, just so relieved for a laddie and just so happy for him. Not only because we scored a second goal in the game, but everything he's been through and the amount of time he's had to wait to get that moment, to step up and take it with both hands. Full credit to the laddie, and we're 2-0 up in the game. Now, for the next 5 or so minutes, it was just filled with notifications on Twitter with people sending me videos talking about Jones, what he could do if he was coming into the game. Absolutely loved that, nation. Thank you so much for all that. So I was still on a high, but then in the 36th minute of the game, I didn't think I could get even higher than that. But just like buses, ladies and gentlemen, you wait for one for so damn long, then two comes at the exact same time. Well, that's exactly what happened with the penalty kicks, because we waited nearly a year in the league for one, and we go ahead and get two, in the space of 15 minutes, as it's a wonderful corner whipped in by Ryan Kent, and it's basically volleyball for Polworth. It's clearly, is it Campbell? Apologies if it is. Anyway, it's a clear penalty kick, absolutely spot on by brother Bobby Madden, and Tavernier steps up. How's your bottle, Skipperoo? You've already had a penalty in the game. What are you going to do with it? Well, Carson thinks he's going to go down the middle like he did in European football, but he just steps up and buries it bottom right, and the game's over at 3-0. Which, if you're keeping track, by the way, that's 6 goals in his last 6 games for the skipper, leading by example in terms of scoring. And in this game, that's the perfect summarisation for Tavernier, in my opinion. From the first whistle to the last, he led by example. He was tracking, he was running, he was putting pressure on. Hell, he was sprinting up the park and putting pressure on their goalkeeper. He didn't want to allow anyone on that team to settle on the ball for a second, and you just saw his energy was infectious. Everyone was starting to get it, and he was screaming at people for more and more. So he certainly deserved the 2 penalty goals here, and if I'm being honest with you, even if he hadn't scored 2 goals in this game, he would still be my man of the match, and that's just me being honest. He was just up here all damn day. Now, before we dive ahead to the second half of the game, just a quick wee word on the other penalty shout for Motherwell. It's a dive, Feline. Am I missing something? Anyway, over to the second half of the game. It was kind of slowed down a little bit as Rangers were just so damn comfortable. They may as well just sat in a lounger, put their feet up, had a couple and just enjoyed the rest of their Sunday, because that's looked like it was going to happen for the first 15 minutes. But it started to spark into life. Honestly, from the Motherwell substitution and when they brought on Staunch Seedorf himself, I thought he added a lot to that Motherwell side, but from a Rangers perspective, it kind of woke us up as well, and it gave Jones an opportunity again to burst with his pace. He gets his head up, he finds Ryan Kent, who's just too clever and too quick for Declan Gallagher, cuts inside him, Deck has to bring him down. It sets up a free kick opportunity for Tavernier. Will he score it and make his hat-trick? No, he can't, because of that arsehole Carson. But the smile was only going to get bigger and bigger, because around about this time Ryan Kent was actually substituted off in the game, and big Cedric Itten came on the park, and we were all the same, right? Let's just be brutal honest. No matter who your favourite player is or anything like that, we were all the same. When that guy jogged on that park, we went, please let him get a goal. That will be massive for him. Well, shortly after coming on the park, he already showed a couple of glimpses of getting on the ball and doing some nice tidy stuff, but Jesus, you just have to go, yep, that man is full of quality, because Scotty Arfield, again, positive with the football. Tavernier burning down the right hand side, making Lammy have to take a couple of steps off big Cedric, who has a little bit of space. Arfield fires it into him, and you talk about a striker coming to a massive club like Rangers, right? Already a wee bit of whispers and nips and everything on Twitter saying, oh, he doesn't look very good, all this nonsense that's actually out there. But the laddie, all that pressure on playing for a club like Rangers, how is his confidence level? Well, his confidence level is this. He bloody chips it up outside the box and absolutely volleys it right into the old breadbasket. Talk about starting your Rangers career with a tidy wee goal there. Absolutely delighted for him, and it showed just his clinicalness as well, by the way, because that was one shot on target throughout his Rangers career. 1 goal. But in the 77th minute, it did flow the other way, because we haven't mentioned him yet, but Alan McGregor was back in and amongst the sticks, and we all know what happens when he is amongst the old sticks. It's eventually going to have his McGregor moment, and he had it in the 77th minute of this game, where O'Hara hits an absolute beautiful free kick. Let's be brutally honest about that, but who's equal to it? McGregor. Phenomenal fingertip save. I think he flicks it onto the bar and it goes over. Amazing save and that's why he's number 1. And from that fantastic save from Alan McGregor, it eventually led to us scoring the 5th goal in this game, where Tavernier whips in a beautiful corner. Now, I don't think it's his assist because it kind of goes in amongst some bodies. I think it hits Hadji, I think it hits a Motherwell player, but who's the first one to react and put the ball into the back of net? It's your man, big Cedric Itten. You talk about penalties, you talk about buses, well, the big lad's got 2 now in the space of 10 minutes, and that's what he's all about there. If you put the ball in the box for him, he can be very, very dangerous, and he showed that with his first goal, that he's got a bit of technical ability. But I really like the second goal because it shows that despite being up a couple of goals, he's still switched on and he wants it, and I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more goals like that for the big laddie, and I absolutely delighted him getting his second. Which also means, by the way, that's 2 shots now on target throughout his Rangers career. 2 goals. I like that. But we weren't done there, ladies and gentlemen. Nah. There was one more goal to be scored by Rangers Football Club. Now, unfortunately, it was George Edmondson in to his own net. It's a great corner, low, hard, kind of in the middle of the goals. It's a difficult one for Edmondson to react to. It hits him right in the face. It goes into the back of net. It's some finish, if you want to say that, for George Edmondson. I wouldn't mind a couple of them. And the other side, it is unlucky for the big man, though, who came on and was obviously playing in the more defensive midfield role. And I think that was his first touch, was to sort of slap it in his own net. So I'm sure big McGregor wasn't happy with that. But listen, I'm not going to tear into the lad. He's very, very unlucky. It just bounces off him and goes in. But what I really liked about this point, by the way, is Rangers weren't done and dusted. Despite scoring 6 goals in the game, they wanted more and more, and Tavernier nearly just saved my fantasy league this week, because he hits a beautiful long through ball in for Jermaine Defoe, who forces a good save from Carson as well. That could have been another assist for Tavernier, and he was very close to getting another one in the 91st minute of the game. Still positive, still fully running, gets in behind the defence, whips in a beautiful first time cross to Scotty Arfield. He tries to just cushion it, but it just goes under his foot, and that's a massive miss for Scotty Arfield. A goal I think Arfield would have deserved, and another assist I think Tavernier would have deserved, but it didn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not going to cry over fantasy league points. No. I'm happy and delighted we got the 3 points that matters, and that's in the league. And with that being said, that is the game recap done and dusted. But I just want to give a couple of wee shout outs, because I've mentioned Jones, right? Absolutely buzzing with that. Mentioned Big Cedric, talked about how great Tavernier was, but honestly, I think if you look through the entire 11, you saw performances from everyone. I thought Glenn Kamara was very, very solid in this game. I thought Davis was excellent. That's the Davis we want to see in the middle, sort of controlling the tempo of the game. The longer the game went on, the better he got. Arfield, immaculate, 2 assists for the big man. I'm pretty sure he won the official man of the match as well, but Morelos, excellent with his link-up play. Ryan Kent, very unselfish, doing a lot of runs in behind, stretching, creating space for others, but so damn impressed with every single Rangers player. Honestly, could have been anyone up for the man of the match, even young Bassey, who was also excellent. But my overall man of the match, as I've already spoiled in the video, is going to be Captain Tavernier. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am done and dusted. Now it's time for you, if you're still watching to this point in the video, I want to know who your man of the match is, and I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are on that game. And while you guys do that, I'll jump over to Twitter and hear from the people. So over to Twitter then, there's been 1,801 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved already. The poll's still flying, but I think it's settled because only 3% votes for other, 15% votes for Jordan Jones, who was excellent in his first start since August 2019 in the league. 21% votes for double assister Scotty Arfield, but the far and away winner, which brings me so much joy, with 61% of the vote, is the skipper. But enough of me, let's get to you guys then, shall we? Graham writes in, great result, good team performance all around, while still missing key players Jack, Aribo, and with Borna and Hadji on the bench shows great depth of the squad now. I'll see that Shagger up 1-0 in the Battle of the MCs. If you watched yesterday's preview video, thank you so much, by the way, and you'll get that line for Graham. I regret it. Alex writes in, Tav, man of the match. Bassey had a class game, really wanted it and hat-trick, as the first goal was sublime. Edmondson, bullet headers on show. Once again, phenomenal for the lad. He's known for it. Matt writes in, highlight of the day was Itten getting a brace for me, unlucky from Edmondson, but nothing he could do really with that. Jones was excellent today. I guess you called it, CJ, and he showed a clip of me sort of yammering on about Jordan Jones for a very, very long time. Stevie Brown writes in, thought Arfield was superb today, covered every blade of grass for me. Captain Tav with his all-around play gets my man of the match though. Good shout from Stevie, shout out to yourself and Andy. By the way, hope you are doing very, very well. David White, writes in, Captain Tav was my man of the match with JJ a close second. Great to see him back and on fire. Shout out to Kamara also, who has put in 2 quiet but very efficient shifts in a row now. Good to see from David. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I think I'm just happy, you know what I mean? I'm just buzzing that we've won. It just makes my Sunday, that, honestly. Janie writes in, Scotty was man of the match for me today. Silently went around his business today and contributed with a couple of goals as well. Tav was on fire today and I'm delighted for Itten and Jones. The team deserve all the plaudits today. Well, maybe no Edmondson. Hey, Janie, don't do that to Big George. Nobody tell me we're shooting the other way. The last one read out in tonight's video will scroll all the way down to the bottom and we'll stop it right here, and it calls from the boss on the slates. Okay, great performance. Could have gave loads of players it today. Tav probably edges it. Brilliant to see Itten scoring and Bassett and Jones doing really well with a run out. Special mention for Lee Wallace also. There is, ladies and gentlemen. Even Lee Wallace is getting a shout out. We love it. It well and truly is a beautiful Sunday. But with that being said, you've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. And as always, I've been Cedric992. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. I'll see you in the next video. And bye.